Recently, I've come across this channel that really gets my blood boiling.
So there's this YouTuber called JREG, who has 531,000 subscribers and 128 million views. He creates satirical political content, but it's not what you think. It's not your typical John Oliver or Noah Trevor sort of comedy. He's like an omnipotent, ironical machine that knows everything you're gonna say and defends himself before you even punch. So in this video, I'm not here to critique or praise JREG. Instead, I want to explore our postmodern internet culture through his use of irony. Memes, like any other art form, are a way of communicating. Good art expresses something that can't be explained in everyday language. It's the same with memes. Their humor and message can't really be expressed through any other medium. But the thing is, memes and art in general don't always need a deeper meaning. They can just exist as art for art's sake, appreciated for how they look or feel, or what emotion they give us. Memes are about humor, and humor is always their first priority. But still, there are two types of memes.
Número 1.
The first type has a message behind it, like this one.
Cons. Nothing. Pros. When it fails, we can say it wasn't real communism.
For example, this meme is trying to make the point that communism doesn't work. The second type of meme doesn't have any underlying meaning. It's just about humor for humor's sake. I think this type reflects the humor of today's generation more. These memes usually lie somewhere between absurdism, like the E-meme, and pure irony, like hopeless core.
If you drink and drive every night, statistically, you're going to be better at it. Am I telling you to do it? No, I'm telling you what it is. If you drink and drive once a month, you're going to be all nervous.
But at the end of the day, their only goal is to make you laugh. David Foster Wallace, an American writer, gave one of the best explanations of irony. He observed that irony serves a negative function. By negative, he didn't mean bad, but more so destructive. By this, he means that irony is typically used to highlight problems in society and expose hypocrisies. It is used as, quote, a critical negation that would make it self-evident to everyone that the world is not as it seems. David believed that irony was important initially when it started as a literary device, but over time, it's been taken over by the dominant superstructure and now gets used in a strange way, often just to refer to itself for its own sake. Take this ad, for example.
It begins each morning at 4 a.m. The distillers of Aviation American Gin rise to greet the new day with 4 hours of silent meditation. From there, it's a quick scoot down to the grove. The citrus fruits are misted using only the tears of Aviation's owner, me, Ryan Reynolds.
It's not trying to make a deeper point with its irony. It's not saying ads are bad or anything like that. It's simply saying, yes, I know I am an ad. So when irony becomes an end in itself, it shifts from, quote, I don't really mean what I say, to, quote, how very banal to ask what I mean. Take JREG's recent video on the United Healthcare shooting, for example.
The first really concerning thing about this is the accessibility. I mean, all you really need to do to pull something like this off is like $400 for the pistol and an e-bike. That's all it takes to become a beloved anti-hero type character for Gen Z forever. So accessible. Like, you can literally Google these people's names and their addresses come up. Like, if I wanted to find Larry Fink's house, I'm picking the name of a hat here, okay? Just calm down. Walking around with families and mortal bodies and wives and explodable heads and sins. Oh God, the sins that almost beg to be cleansed with fire.
It's framed as condemning the event, but it's really just an ironic clip that shows the accessibility and appeal for assassinating powerful people. But as David Foster Wallace points out with satire, it's hard to tell if he's advocating for something like assassination, or if it's pointless to even ask what he means. With JREG, this is a key recurrence.
Yeah, I don't think this should be a surprise to anybody. If you look at my very first anti-centrist, it's kind of baffling to me how I've fooled so many people into thinking that I was not a centrist. So, okay, let me
No one knows what he means, not even his fans. Maybe not even himself. So when irony is used in this form, it's probably because of humor, but also there's a second purpose. It allows the creator and audience to deflect criticism and feel untouchable, maybe even superior. For David, this craving for invulnerability comes from a high level of self-awareness. That's why it's almost an intellectual task to be ironic. You can't imagine just anyone doing this, or even wanting that kind of invisible superiority. But this self-awareness that accompanies the desire to be ironic is exactly what makes JREG so interesting. He dodges your punches before you even throw them. For example, he already predicted this kind of critique. He made an entire video criticizing his own use of irony.
Content for his own gain. I am, of course, talking about JREG. The most glaring issue with JREG's content is his use of satire as an artistic defense. Most of his content is just this low-effort satire that says a bunch of vague ambiguities that can be interpreted in any number of ways.
At this point, he has taken his humor to a level of meta-irony that barely seems human. In one of his videos, he critiques irony while still being ironic.
Guess what? Associating with social causes is actually cool and good, and you probably should do it.
So what's the point with all of this? With not only memes, but everything from movies to ads tending towards irony, self-referentiality, and fourth wall breaks, David would be quite concerned. He wouldn't want irony or memes to disappear, but he'd probably want a new art trend that embraces sincerity instead.